Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Ask Alexis, where we talk about everything business, real estate, life, and fitness. Today, I have with me a military veteran and a real estate investor, Anthony Johnson. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about you. Who is Anthony?
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Who's Anthony? Do my little elevator pitch. I've been in real estate since 2017. 8 years military, 3 years as a software developer. I've worked at Amazon. I've worked at Polygon, fintech company. I have a passion for real estate. Back in 2023, tech layoffs happened and decided to make the jump and get back into real estate full time. Luckily, able to lean on some past investments and then having the realization that you can't balance tech and other things. I'm married, husband, father of almost 4 now, like 3.5. The baby's bacon. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. What got you back into real estate? So you dabbled into real estate and then you left. What made you come back? What made you realize that real estate's kind of something that's...
Well, I think it wasn't with tech, that was always like a stepping stone. It was understanding like, hey, if I get into tech, you're going to make a lot of money and then you can take that money and move it somewhere else. But what happens with a lot of people is you wind up, it's called like the golden handcuffs. Mm-hmm. So you get into this situation, you're making more money than you've ever made in your life, but you can't detract from what you're doing. Like it's really hard to justify focusing on your passions when you're being paid to just be like be a slave essentially. It's the golden handcuffs. And when I got laid off, I have some passive income that was coming in. I started meditating daily and just had the realization of instead of waiting to get back into tech so I can start getting the money that I was getting, to probably fall into the same circle that I was already in of making the money, but you're still spending it. You're not saving it. You don't have that time to invest it into anything else or focus on your passions. And I told myself, like, maybe I can just skip it. Like, what's the worst that could happen if I just skipped going back into tech, getting that nice W-2 paycheck, and put all my energy into something I wanted to do. And that's how I got back into real estate. It was just a realization that life's short, and that steady comfort of the income, mm-hmm. it's not worth it. And the worst thing that I would have wanted to happen is getting another tech job 2 years from now, getting laid off again, or just hating my life and being at the same situation I was in at that moment. So
getting laid off was probably the best thing that could have happened. I mean, not at the moment, obviously. That was a very scary thing, That is a sad reality for a lot of individuals, that when it does happen, a lot of people do wait, right? They don't know what to fall back onto. They go into something that's not even close to what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
COVID actually had a really big... that's a great example. A lot of people did get let go of their jobs during that time and kind of just fell into other W-2 jobs, and then once their job was able to, they were able to go back to, they did, but they never really found a passion. So that's really something special. What was your first real estate deal?
First real estate deal was back in Tennessee. So I'd just gotten back from deployment. Me and one of my buddies started reading this book, like How to Do Subject To by Phil Pustiowski. We started putting out bandit signs and had this lady named Julie call me, like very randomly. She left me a voicemail, wouldn't answer the phone. I wound up going to her house and knocking on the door. And this lady was living, no electricity in the house, using pots and pans to go to the bathroom, and just horrible situation. She went through a divorce and basically had like a breakdown, stopped paying mortgage, stopped paying electric, stopped paying everything. With the subject too, I realized that I could really help this lady out. I got her out of foreclosure. I had just bought it after getting back from deployment. I had bought a quadplex. Mm-hmm. I wound up putting her in one of my units, giving her free rent for a year, and I was hooked. I was able to take this lady out of where she's at, put her in a new environment. She was like my best tenant, planted little flowers in the front yard. Like everything was great. I think she smoked in the house, but she was sneaky and she kept it from like being too evasive. But yeah, that was my first deal was pretty special. Not all deals are like that. A lot of the time it's just very transactional. You have a bad situation, let's take over the property, whether we're going to wholesale it or we're going to fix and flip it, whatever. They move on. But there are those situations where you're able to change someone's life. And I know you asked me like, what was your first deal? But that was, yeah, all the different dynamics of it. Yeah.
No, that was something special because, you know, I think that real estate investors, they have a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and sometimes people deserve it, right? Even with the real estate agents, right? I mean, they do feel, quote unquote,
there's sharks in the water. There's tons of sharks, yes.
But you changed somebody's life. So let's say that you wouldn't have read that book, you wouldn't have actually went to her house because she wasn't going to answer the phone. There's a lot of people that need help, and they'll kind of say that they need help, but they're like, oh, no. Like, this person isn't going to help me. You actually went to her house and were able to have a conversation with her that pretty much changed her life. Imagine if you wouldn't have.
I mean,
she would have foreclosed on that home. She would have lost everything. It would have been a really bad situation for her, because even for her to have to go into a rental, who would have rented to her?
She wouldn't have been able to get a rental.
No,
I tried. That was my first
outlet, you know, before putting her into your...
The first direction was like, hey, how do I find you somewhere to live? And then, you know, started making phone calls, and things just lined up. Like, it was a miracle that everything just lined up perfectly. I'd made prior decisions. Things just fell in place, and I was able to help this lady. Yeah.
That's insane. What do you do now? What's your real estate day-to-day like?
Couple things. So I wholesale, I fix and flip. We also invest into multifamily properties. The day-to-day is driving around, checking out properties, meeting with owners, and calling friends and seeing if they want to invest into big multifamily projects. And that's
that's you, right?
That's the day-to-day, yeah.
So you had told me a little bit that you help people do their investment portfolio. So what does that look like, especially in the Vegas market? How are you making those dreams a reality, especially with people that, let's say, they have money, but they don't have the knowledge or the skills to be able to, you know, invest in real estate? It is something that you do have to have knowledge. If not, you're going to lose all your money, right?
Yeah, and I mean, this was... It really just depends, but I mean, the main focus in the Vegas market specifically is helping individuals that are doing their 9 to 5. So, you know, like myself in tech, where I don't have the time or the bandwidth to invest into a fix and flip. Like, it doesn't make any sense. On top of that, if you don't have the correct network or everything put into place, you're putting yourself at like a pretty big risk. You ask the average person that's had any work done on their home, like, how did it go? They have some sort of like buyer's remorse, or they have horror stories. One of my most recent clients, he was literally my physical therapist, receptionist, and you know, we met, and we started talking about real estate because he had a contractor come through. It was a company, it's a big company here in Vegas, and they charged this guy like $40,000. Didn't complete any of the work. The work that they did complete was either wrong or they damaged the house, and he was just like distraught. And that's something where I had the realization of, you know, how am I able to use the knowledge and the connections that I have to be able to kind of streamline and make this a little bit of an easier process for an individual that wants to get into fix and flips, where you're able to partner with somebody that does have the connections and the know-how, whether it's evaluating the deals and understanding if it's a good deal or not, and they're an actual partner in the deal, so they're not trying to screw you over and just sell you a house. Like, if you go to a barber, you ask them if you need a haircut. It doesn't matter if you're bald. They're going to try to get you to, you know, hey, cool, I'm going to shave and I'll wax you, whatever. It's the same thing with real estate. You go to a wholesaler, you go to a real estate agent. Is this a good buy? Like, you trust them if you want to, but you should probably...
Do your homework a little bit.
You should probably do your homework or know how to do your homework. And, you know, it comes from evaluating thousands of properties. Like, in each little area is a little bit different. Contractors, I know I'm kind of doing like an oop-de-loop, but like contractors having that trust factor. Like, if you're just a random person and you're trying to get the best deal, a lot of these people, they're predatory. Like, you know, my receptionist at the physical therapy office, there's no way he'd have to go to court. He'd literally have to go to court. He calls the companies. They don't really care. That's how they operate, because it's turn and burn. Like, they're going to deal with you once. They're going to get everything that they can from you, and they're going to move on. Now, if you're an investor and you're doing it at a high level, you have these relationships because you've spent the time dealing with those knuckleheads, and now you have teams of people that are able to get work done and have skin in the game. Like when I'm dealing with my project manager's doing 20 plus properties for other huge investors all over Vegas. And if he does anything wrong, or if he were to try to stiff me or anything, his name's on the line, because I know all these other people, and people talk, and that's how he was able to scale his business to the level that it's at. Yeah.
No, it's what you're saying is complete sense, because if you don't know what you're doing, like, I'll give an example. Like, if you don't know when you are dealing with a contractor, right, and you don't know how to actually ask for a bid and actually have them itemize that bid and actually have them go from, all right, what are you spending in costs and what are you spending in labor, and actually be able to say, okay, I'll take it from this one. And then you go to that next contractor, right? And you have them do the same thing. And it may cost you some upfront money, but if you, in doing that, you can kind of see what makes sense, who's actually telling you the truth, who's actually bullshitting you, who's not. And then you never, ever, ever give them all the money up front. No contractor works like that.
They shouldn't because it puts them in a bad position. Like, they don't want to take all. What if they take a decent portion and they start doing construction, and then they realize this is going to be a $100,000 job, not a $50,000 job, and this person doesn't have $100,000, but they've already given them
what they have,
what they've had. It puts them in a weird predicament of like, okay, how do I work from here? And they already have the money, so I mean, yeah.
No,
none of them should operate that way. Like the normal is like 1/3. 1/3 of the cost. Start the project, you get 1/3 of the money. Halfway through the project, you get another third. When it's finished, you get the rest. And that keeps everything clean. And I think it gives them enough to get started. Things can work differently depending on, if the contractor is going to be taking care of all the materials, or if that's something you're going to be taking care of. But yeah, like you said, do not give them all the money, and work with people that are not even just referrals, because you have to understand when people are referring, they're not always referring people that
are in their best interest or in your best interest.
Or in your best interest. Like
their best interest.
Sometimes, I've had plenty of contractors that are like, hey, give me some business and I'll give you X amount of dollars. And it's like, you don't know if that's the relationship that this person has, where, they're going to refer them, and then they're going to take a $10,000 kickback or a $5,000 kickback off of you. So it's really being in the game, being in the industry, and understanding who's good, who's not, who do you really trust. And even with getting bids, you are going to have people that fit your target amount.
Right.
Now, are those people trustworthy? Do they do a lot of work? Or is their name on the line?
Reputable people.
Reputable people. And that also comes over time. So I mean, yeah, you really have to. It's a relationship game. Is the point. Real estate's a relationship game. If you try to get into the game without the relationships, you're gonna get crushed. Often, you have an 80% chance of having something not great happening. I'd say the first time flipper, I'd say maybe 20% make money. It's maybe 60% break even, and then you have that 20% that just completely wrecked.
And that puts a bad taste in those individuals' mouths, right? When something goes wrong like that, especially when you're purchasing the property up front. A lot of them are purchasing these properties at price points that just absolutely don't make sense.
Yeah.
So even if they do get correct bids and things like that on the actual fixing part of it, if they don't purchase it for the right price point, then they've already lost.
And go on Facebook and get into some of the real estate groups, and you start getting properties from wholesalers. Well, and the thing is, they're trying to maximize their business is wholesaling, and a lot of people aren't trying to deal with volume. So if you have a one-time wholesaler and this is their only deal, they're trying to get maximum. They want to push it to the moon. So they'd much rather find that first-time investor that all he did was read a book, or all she did was read a book and was like, oh, go on a Facebook group, go meet some wholesalers, and then buy the property, fix it, whatever. But these people are trying to get you, and it's very important that you really understand what you're getting into. And, I offer on other wholesalers' properties all the time, and it's very rare that I'm able to purchase a property from a wholesaler, because their margins just are insane. Like, they just don't make any sense, or they don't understand how to evaluate properties correctly, because they're not sitting there all day evaluating the properties. They're trying to deal with the seller and they just want it under contract. That's it. They're like, okay, I finally got it under contract. Now it's time to flip it over to an investor. I'm about to do this. But they're not trying to buy it at necessarily the right price. No. Their goal is like, okay, well, let me lock up the front end, with the seller, and then I'm going to get the buyer, and I'm going to maximize that, and then I'll try to get the seller even lower, or I'll keep it, whatever. It's funny game. It's relationships. If you get a wholesaler, make sure you have a good relationship with them. And
that has a name. That's somebody who's been doing it for a while. And that's not to say that every wholesaler that's just beginning isn't going to have people's best interests at mind. But it really does, a very fair point to you is, especially that first-time wholesaler, right?
Yeah.
They've read the books, they've listened to the podcast, they've done whatever homework that it looks like for them, and they realize, well, I can make $30,000 off of this one property, so I'm going to make $30,000, even if it's not. And they put these people's homes, or they give this false hope to the seller, thinking that somebody that's in hardship, mind you, somebody that's probably going through foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, whatever it looks like for them, and they don't even have buyers.
No, and they'll lock up properties for like 45 to 90 days, crazy stuff. And like, going back on, even if someone had, like, it's most important that you just understand what you're doing. Like, it's okay to look at properties from a wholesaler, even a new wholesaler. And in my opinion, it doesn't really make too much of a difference whether it's a seasoned wholesaler or a brand new wholesaler, because if they don't have your best interest, and especially if you're vulnerable, like if you don't know how to evaluate properties correctly, you're really at their mercy. Like that big shark is going to bite you the same way that the little shark's going to bite you. I would just view everyone in real estate as a shark, and really try to find somebody that's either just educate yourself, find somebody that can be on your team, and do it that way. Because even just by going off reputation, people have conflicts of interest. Like, just put it that way. People have conflicts of interest. People are salespeople. Some people are smooth, and they're your best friend, and they make you feel good. Yeah, smooth criminals. And it's best to just be on your shit. Just be on your shit. Don't get taken advantage of. It's even, if you get something under contract or you're trying to deal with one person, take it to another wholesaler, take it to an agent. Agents will mess up your deals because a lot of them can't evaluate properties. Mm-hmm. So take it to someone that can evaluate the property. Really good agents or other investors. Like, that'd probably be your best friend. Find an investor, make friends with them, and see if they can help you out. Your best goal is partnering with an investor. That's probably your best bet. That's what I do. Like, I partner with people. We find you the property. I fix it up for you. We sell it for you. Depending on the person, like, so my partner, Sydney, she's there the whole time. Like, she managed the whole project. The next project we do, she's not going to need me. She's going to be good to go, which is the goal, Some people want more passive. It's like, hey, Anthony, take this money, go flip a house for me. But the goal is just to have more solid education, more transparency, and just make it easier for people to get into this space and not get
burned.
Wrecked.
Yeah, you're their way of going into real estate passively, because there's so many gurus on social media, especially, that say that real estate's passive. It's far from it. Like, there's some good days where you don't get a phone call from a tenant saying something's wrong with the property or something with the contractor or whatever that may look like, right? But you kind of introduce people into real estate where, no, I'm just going to take your capital. We're going to deploy it into this property. I'm going to run this property. I'm going to make sure that it gets fixed and flipped, or whatever investment strategy that you choose to do, or that they choose, that they want to, invest in strategy wise. and you're pretty much their skin in the game, right?
I'm just their consultant, and like the way that I run things is, there's small management fee, but outside of that, I'm not getting paid unless we do
You
well.
make the deal
Like
happen.
the deal has to happen. It needs to make sense. I want this thing to sell for $100,000, have $100,000 of spread, and we get to split our profits, and we both make money. I don't want you to break even. Like that sucks for me.
Yeah, because you don't.
I'm like, oh God, I just put a lot of hours into managing all of this stuff to break even, which it happens.
I'm sure.
But it's not ideal. And you want someone that's not getting paid for nothing. Like it'd be awesome, like you can do this with anybody. You find an investor, you tell them, hey, can we partner on this? I have capital. They're going to want to partner with you. A lot of the times they're going to want to partner with you. Contractors, they're also always looking for capital. The only thing with a contractor is they have other ways to make money through the experience of flipping the house that they don't even need to sell it in order to make money. They can just, it's more of a conflict of interest. Relationships. It all just goes, everything's so nuanced. So it's hard to give there's no concrete rule with any of this. It's very situational. It's very nuanced. It's based on the people and, different situations. But
what they want. You're going after what somebody wants, and of course you're getting paid. So a lot of people can sit here and be like, oh, Anthony's getting paid for helping. Well, yes, of course. He's put in his time. He's put in his hardship, his actual knowledge into making sure, like, you're doing so much due diligence in these deals to make sure that it makes sense. So somebody isn't breaking even, because if they break even, then like you said, that's not good for you. There's nothing that comes out of that. But even if that person were to try to go and do that deal on their own, there's so many things that could arise that could make that deal go like that.
And honestly, though, I guess the worst thing that you could do is take all of your money and put it into a freaking expensive mastermind course. That's the one thing that I would say. I would rather you lose your money going and messing around with the wrong contractor and just getting screwed up than going and paying $50,000 for learn how to fix and flip. That's wild to me.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. Well, that's how I got my entry into real estate, and I never wanted to say it, but fine, I'll say it. I actually got into that. I paid somebody money to learn about STRs, things that I could have just learned on the internet by myself, and I put a couple grand into it. I'll never see that couple grand again.
You pay to pay attention.
That changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I told myself that I spent that money, I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to, whether I became a short-term renter or not, I'm going to use that leverage. Real estate is something that is really exciting for me. It's something that I personally believe that it's the best performing asset class. Like, stocks have been doing great, right? That's now. Real estate has been doing great forever. It's been changing people's lives forever. Time in and time again, real estate has stood strong, and it's had some waves, but I mean, nothing like what any other asset class has. And
it's just very easy to understand, and it's not at the mercy of as many external factors as like a stock. Like stocks in general, there's no rhyme or reason. Like, I don't know. I view the whole stock market as a giant Ponzi scheme where, you go live on the stock exchange, and then it's like, okay, how do we just pump this up? Or if you look at like NVIDIA and the different backdoor ways they have of pumping up their stock price by providing, it's just crazy.
No, it's a mess. It's exactly,
it's
but
hard
people
to understand.
make money doing it. Like, people make money doing crypto. People make money with investing in gold. People, like, there's so many ways to make money, but I just feel like, one, I can live in real estate. Like, if worse comes to worse, I can go back to my real estate. I can't go knock on the door of Apple and say, oh, well, I have a stock here and I lost my home, so can I come stay here? They would tell me, absolutely not, Alexis. You need to go, or you're trespassing. Can't live in gold.
Yeah.
I mean, I could maybe build something out of gold, but that's depending on the amount of gold that I have. But real estate it's stable, and it like you said, it makes sense there, and there's the world of possibilities that are in real estate are endless. What's your mission with this? What's your mission with real estate? Where do you see yourself going with this?
I mean, I think my passion on the, like, especially working on the investor side of everything is really just helping out homeowners, helping out like the Julies. Like, I want to help out as many Julies as possible. And I think, you know, my mission will grow as time goes on, but right now it's more of like, what do you enjoy about it? Or what's the love within real estate? And it's really helping finding creative solutions to these difficult problems that people aren't able to pull themselves out of themselves, just because they're not in the right headspace. They've made the wrong decisions, and then figuring out, how do I help you move on? And I was talking to you about it, you know, last time we spoke. I think my thing for this year, like the number one thing I want to do, I want to help someone out of their shitty situation, buy their house from them, and then convince them to make money with the proceeds that they get. Like, it would be super awesome. Let's pull that black cloud over from on top of you, and then take what you have now and reinvest it. Like, I want to create a flipper out of a bad situation. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know.
No, it's
going to be the perfect storm. It's going to happen eventually.
Well, you're already starting that, right? You're helping more people than you realize. But when you told me that, I was like, that's genius.
That'd be so dope. Like, that'd be so. I think I just like having stories too. Like, it's just a really cool story to tell. Like, this guy, like, can you believe what he did off of, you know, just taking the leap? Like, this guy was in such a shitty situation, and now he's freaking on top. Like, he's married now. Whatever
that
like,
looks like for them.
Whatever
whether they
it
want
looks
to be married
like for
again
him
or not, or they want to get married for the first time. But no, what you're doing is, if you're in a shitty situation, first and foremost, talk to somebody. But you're going to be that person that they're going to be able to consult to.
Yeah.
And I have full belief that you're going to make this happen, because just like how it happened with the Julie, imagine how many other people are going to be in that same situation, especially in Vegas, right? The numbers came out, and a lot of foreclosures are going to start happening, unfortunately. A lot of people aren't able to keep their payments. Life has happened. Inflation has really taken a toll on a lot of people's lives. It's unfortunate, but our state's going to start seeing it. Well, I mean, I guess that's off of the numbers that I've read and things of that nature, but those are the people that are going to need help the most. And
they need help.
They need help.
And it's a weird thing, because, like, I understand what I do is for profit. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing to make money.
If you didn't, you wouldn't be able to do it.
You wouldn't be able to do it. But at the end of the day, like, we still need people that give a shit. That, like, yes, you are going to make money off of taking this lady's house and rehabbing it, or whatever you're going to do with it. Maybe, like, there's different exit strategies, but people that actually give a shit about that end person, and it's not like just bulldogging them.
Right.
A lot of these people are just freaking bulldogs.
Wholesalers are one.
And it's like, I want to attract things with transparency, with good intentions, and give a shit. Because, I mean, and you know, my background, like, I've been on my own since I was a kid. Like, I was 16, living in a halfway house. No one gave a shit. Like, nobody cared. And I want to be the one that cares. Like, I do care, genuinely.
I feel it.
And it's, yeah, I just want to be the guy that gives a shit in the space. And yeah.
I can't wait to watch this transformation of what you're doing, because you're already doing it. Like, how many people have you been able to help in Las Vegas alone? And a lot of people think that you can't even fix and flip in Las Vegas because our price margin's so high, but you're doing it.
I mean, last year, like, and I've only been back in the real estate game for 6 months, mind you, but it was like eight people on both sides. So, like,
you know, agents don't even do 8 deals a year.
Well, mine's a little bit different. It's more, I don't know. I think my business model is...
No, your business model is completely different.
Yeah.
Than a typical just taking some sale from somebody, and what you're doing is in theory of what you're looking to do is, instead of this person having to go back to renting or go to an apartment or go to, gosh, a godforsaken weekly. Those are terrible, but those are the only places that accept people with credit that's gone to shit because of foreclosures, because of hardship, and you're taking them from not having to go into those situations, because when you're put in those situations and you see those things on a day in and day out, it's really hard for individuals to continue on, right? They just go back into a rut, and we could see it in our state, right? We see people.
Life's hard, man.
Life
like even
hard.
when you have everything, when your bills are paid and you have food on the table, it's still easy to fall into a rut. Like, woe is me. Like gratitude's a hard thing to chase down a lot of the times when different things are going on, and I can't imagine like having to go through like foreclosure or whatever else. I've avoided that. I've had different stupid things, but I can't imagine them going through that process. And like a lot of the time it's like they didn't off themselves, which is, if I was in some of these people are in bad situations. They're chugging along. They're doing the best that they can. And it's amazing. Yeah.
No, I think what you do is really special. So you're a part of a team as well. You're part of, they're called Elite Investments. What are
Elite Capital?
So Capital.
That's our multifamily investment arm.
Tell us a little bit about that. What do you do in the multifamily space?
Yeah, so in short, we're looking to double our income in 3 to 5 years with any of our investments. We invest in anything over 100 units. Primarily in Texas right now. Right now we're funding for a 306-unit apartment complex in Princeton, Texas. The fund might be done by the time this airs. February 20th is the date. If you're interested, and that date's passed, sorry. But yeah, we're raising for construction and contingencies right now. We already bought the note back in December. That was a cool deal too. So we didn't acquire that. We're working with Bloom Capital, who's like our parent partner.
Right.
And that all happened. It was in foreclosure. We purchased a note for $7 million back in December, but husband and wife developer, they're putting this project together. They get divorced halfway through. The wife is like on a planning committee or permitting committee and just like halted everything. So the husband couldn't even do anything with the property after that. And he tried to get investors in to make things work, but just wasn't able to pull it together. And Princeton, Texas, at the end of the day, was like, hey, we either need to demo this or like someone needs to step it up. And our Bloom actually had to go in person and like petition to get the property at the end of the day.
Really?
But it was, awesome investment. Pretty unique situation. It's because all we're doing is taking it from 50% to 100%. There's 3 phases of construction. It's 3 like 100-unit buildings.
Okay.
Once one's completed, they're going to start phase 2 of the second. Once rents are stabilized across the entire thing, it's either going to be refied or just sold. The cap rate is still going to be 5.5, which leaves some meat on the bone for like these institutional investors and hedge funds to purchase the property. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, that is cool. So and what kind of area is this property in? What's the neighborhood listing? Is it like a B-, C-? What's the given area right now?
It'll be an A. This is new construction.
Okay.
It's all like the average income for this area is over $100,000 a year. The average rents are over $2,000 a month. It's the 3rd fastest growing city in America, or it was last year.
Really?
Yeah, I want to say they had like 40% population growth in the last 18 months.
That's insane.
I believe so, yeah. Don't quote me. Like,
yeah. People from Texas are going to be like, wrong! He's wrong! No. But how did you guys stumble upon that? How did you guys start from, or you at least, from these smaller, mom and pop kind of things into a big multifamily? Because I don't think that I would be able to do a multifamily, but hearing you speak about
anybody can. It's
'Cause it
just like
sounds like a lot.
anything. It is a lot, but it's all about partnering with the right people.
Right.
It's partnering with the right people, understanding where you fall in place in the whole equation.
Okay.
And I mean, that's kind of similar to how I became part of Elite Capital. My background is, well, I was a veteran for 8 years, but I was also in tech for 3 years, 4 years. Now I started going to some of these meetups, ran into some guys that were starting their fund, and they're like, found out I'm a software developer and wanted me to come and help build a website. And then they, after a little bit of time, realized that I understand a lot of different dynamics of real estate, and things just progressed from there. Now it's more of, I definitely have a lot more input in the entire team than I initially wanted. Like I kind of just showed up like, let's see what you guys got going on. I'll build you the website. Cool. I'm going to focus on, my stuff that I'm doing. And the team was cool. I understood the vision, and now we're doing our thing.
No, I got to go to one of your guys' meetup groups, and it was pretty impactful for me, at least, just somebody that's just starting off. Like, I'm very new to this, but being in that room and hearing like the possibilities and just doing it's just going with people that are, like, to your point, knowing who's actually doing something correctly, and trusting those people, and then following in line with those actual individuals. It could really change something. A lot of people will invest money into something they know nothing about and then lose everything. But if you go with a solid team, then, I mean, your chances of succeeding are way higher.
Yeah, and I think, this is another reason why I love real estate, and I think there's other industries that this probably rolls over to, but you're really only limited to your creativity.
Right.
Like, what is your level of imagination and creativity and quick wit with figuring out how to get something done? Like, creative financing is something that people would never even dream of thinking of. Buying properties from people for no money down, because you understand the situation that they're going through, and you understand how to fix it. You're putting things together, or just connecting the dots. Like, you could have, unlike stocks or gold or crypto or whatever, you don't need anything to get started in real estate except for like a brain. You just have to be able to think. And, if you don't have a brain and you're just like a bull, there's a spot for you. Like, there's a spot for you. You annoy me, but there's a spot for you. We need hard chargers and everything. Someone will be like, go ahead and make those phone calls. Like, get in there, make all the phone calls. You're going to be the wrecking ball. Like, you're going to bust down the doors, go knock on all the doors for nothing. All you need is understand your little script, be able to set something up for someone else, be able to add value to other people. Like, if you focus on adding value, you're going to be fine in real estate. Not everyone's value driven, but it definitely, I'm thinking about a conversation I had the other day. I'm kind of random, but the guy gave me the analogy of, like, a lot of people, we gave each other analogies. Mm-hmm. A lot of people are playing defense, and, like, you get some money in your hand and you make a fist. You're scared to death of losing this money. But the thing is, like, yes, if you open your hand, you could lose the money, but you also give way for people to add value, for more money to be added to it, for more to be added. When you're open-handed and you're giving and you're going forward with love, like, you're going to be able to get more in return. But most people don't think that way. It's not like, what can I give? What can I give? And I don't have to care about receiving. Like, it's going to happen. And my journey into tech, I didn't graduate high school. I can't do college. Like, I am what does Anthony want to do? I can't. I don't want to go to college. I didn't graduate high school. My point is, you don't need any of those things to succeed. You just have to be willing to put everything out there, and, like, people are going to recognize your value, and it's going to come back. That's not exactly where I wanted to go at that point, but ADHD is kicking in.
Oh, dude, I have it.
I was I froze.
Long.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, where was I going with this? Okay, bring it in. But
yeah, but it is to a really good point that unless you are coming from a point of being able to give to people, which you are, right? You are, that's your goal. That's my goal too. I want to be able, that's exactly what I'm doing here right now is I want anybody to know that this is a reality for you, that you, especially you, like you're a great example. Like you just said that you didn't graduate high school, you didn't go to college.
My point with the tech thing, with the tech thing, no formal education. And, you know, I worked at Amazon. I've worked at Polygon, and that all happened because I decided to learn in public and create spaces where people could learn together, doing morning algorithms every single day. And it just led to one of my buddies got a job at Amazon that was in my little morning algorithm course, and he wound up hooking me up. It's all relationships. I was giving value, nothing in return. And I do everything that way. Like I still run my little tech group. I'm no longer in tech. It's still a place for people to come and make friends. And that's rewarding as hell. Like sitting back, providing a space for people to just like enjoy each other and seeing like, man, people are building real relationships because I just put an invite. I just put an invite out there that anybody could take. People showed up, and these people are going to be best friends. Like these people are hanging out outside of the meetup to
That's
just
what
go
you did with me.
Grab coffee. Exactly. Like
I hit you up so random. Just was like, I shot my shot and was like, hey, you're having this event? Where's it at? You're like,
come through.
And I was like, cool. And that's exactly how this happened. Like there's so many people that are in the space that I will reach out to and I won't get nothing back. Even if they're hosting an event, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, where is it? Nothing. Crickets. I'm not going to that event. If you can take the time and read my message and you can't respond back to me, I don't want nothing. Like, and I understand that you're busy.
Yeah.
But you read my message. So you were not busy enough to read my message. But
most people aren't that busy. And if you're that busy, hire an assistant. And if you're not making any money, then you're just busy and you're not doing anything, and recognize it and start being productive. Like there's no reason that someone can't just reply. There isn't, unless you just have nothing to say. Like, but a simple thing is like, hey, what time is this? There's a simple answer to that. And yeah, some people everyone's doing the best that they can and they're just working within the confines of themselves.
Correct.
But some people suck. Like some people just aren't cool, and it is what it is. That's why you need to be cool. People also need to realize if you find yourself around the wrong people all the time, you need to look in the mirror. Like you're not attracting the right people because you're not the right type of person. And that's for everything, whether it's like friendships or your spouse or your position at work, whatever. You need to become what you want to attract. You can't have it the other way.
No.
Like you're not going to be a piece of crap, and the people that aren't.
Gold.
Why would someone that's doing everything or is a good person look at somebody that's not a good person and say like, hey, come with me? Why would you bring them into your circle? You wouldn't. That's why it's important you need to be the giver first. You need to add value first, because people that are value adders, they recognize it. They recognize those things, and they're going to want to help you. I see myself in this individual. Like I see that this person's passionate. Like you can't ask for someone else to give you the passion. You need to just go get passionate about something, figure it out. And yeah, you're going to attract what you attract. And I believe that through and through. I think a lot of courage with making crazy, like, it's weird talking about myself so much, but like,
this is all about you.
I should not have been in tech. I was 8-year Army infantry, did not graduate college or did not graduate high school, tried going to college. That didn't work out either. And I got into tech somehow, and getting back from deployment, putting out freaking bandit signs, and like in a couple months, I made freaking $30,000, like putting out bandit signs, buying houses and selling them, doing subject to. Insane. Like, it doesn't happen. You don't think it happens. It happens when you attract it. When you have that belief and you're being the right type of person, shit just happens. You take action, things happen. Action happen. If you don't know what to do, just start doing shit. Just start doing things. Like, change things up. If you're not who you want to be, you don't know what you need to change, just start changing shit. I've done crazy, like, shit of like, okay, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to start going here. I'm going to start going to these, like, a weird meetup group that I would never think that I'd want to go to, but I just want to do something different because who knows? And then those things wind up leading to other things as well. Like, everything has a flow. You just need to create more streams. Like, if you don't have enough, if you don't have any water to go down stream, like, start freaking pulling in more waves or whatever. I feel like I'm going to work on that one. There's like a good analogy in there of just pulling different streams together so you are going to start getting momentum. Like, some of those streams are going to provide fish. Like, not everything has, like, it's not going to have a direct, reaction, but these things, something is going to have a reaction. Like, one of those streams are going to. One of my first, investors when I got into the wholesaling and fix and flipping was a random guy that I met while I was doing jujitsu. He didn't do jujitsu, but he was at a freaking meetup that me and my buddies, we went out to the Firelands or whatever it is. What's the Valley of Fire? Mm-hmm. Went to the Valley of Fire. We camped out, met this guy, Eric. We started talking about real estate. I was still in tech. Well, freaking 8 months later, or maybe a year later, hey man, like, do you have any houses? Like, super random. And he's brought me a deal because he does real estate. He's brought me a wholesale deal that made a lot of sense and was like, I don't do this, but this kind of fell in my lap. Like, can you do something with this? Things just happen. And those are good people too. Like, that guy's like, and you know why I have those people in my life? Because I freaking attract them. Like, I don't deal if someone doesn't rubs me the wrong way, investor, associate, whatever, we're just done. Because there's so many people out there. I'm not going to let this door be open. I'm going to close the door and, let something else happen. I'm like kamikaze too. I'm like, I'll self-destruct. I don't care when it comes to, like, my principles and shit, or I just don't want to deal with this, which I don't know if it's good or bad. Sometimes, like, you just need to just freaking deal with it. Don't just break everything. Like, don't just cut them off or whatever. But who cares? Life's short.
Some people gotta go.
Life's short.
Some people need to come in. But you have done a really good job at knowing that who you want to attract, you have to start with you first. And you
100%.
And you knew that you had a dream, whether it was achievable or not, against all odds. You dove head first and you made that reality a reality. I can't even, because what you're explaining to me right now, I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, Alexis, that's you. Like, I'm going to all these meetups. I'm doing all these different things, just seeing what's going to work, and granted, I'm stressed out. I'm not going to say that this is easy. This is far from easy, but I'm doing it. And I get to meet people like you. I get to meet, like, it's amazing because I'm just doing it. I'm not doing it, It would be one thing to say, oh, Alexis, go do something, and then not do it. No, I'm, like, going to these meetups. I'm, like, looking on social media. I'm looking at these different ways to figure out how am I going to make this dream a reality, and whether I see it or not, it's slowly but surely, like, it's amazing. I get to hear these stories, and how many people get to say that they get to host a podcast, to hear cool people talk about all the different stories that they have about.
And how did that happen? You just chose to fucking do it. You were like, I'm just going to start a podcast. And now, like, the guy that was here before me, like, he's telling these amazing stories, and there's all these interesting people you're able to bring on because you created a platform to meet people. Like, just create the things. Like, people want someone else to do it for them or whatever. You have to just kind of take leaps of faith. And I mean, one thing this kind of makes me think about also, there was a time, like, in the military where I was lost. Like, I'm sitting in freaking Iraq and I'm like, I hate this. Like, I am not going back and re-enlisting and doing all the dumb stuff that we have to do stateside to come out here and do this. I'm not, I refuse to. So I was like, you know, kind of in a dark headspace and just trying to figure it out because I didn't have like necessarily like a dream. It was just, let's freaking try different things. Let's see what I like. Like some people, they're completely lost and they don't know what to do. And they want to have a dream. You don't need to have a dream. You need to discover shit. Like explore, be curious. Like, and I don't know if everyone has like the same capacity of like curiosity. And like, I'm very grateful that I've been able to make certain decisions and not fall into certain holes and think myself out of some stupid stuff. But people need to just have more maybe confidence in themselves. And like, if you do care and you're trying to find out what your dream is or whatever, you need to find that also. Like, it's not just attaining your dream. You need to find what your purpose is. Like, not all of us are lucky and we're 6 years old. Like, I want to be an astronaut and freaking became an astronaut. Like, no, what did I want to be? I wanted to be like a freaking Power Ranger. Like, what did I want to be when I was 5 or 6? I wanted to be a Power Ranger, you know? And then like you grow up and realities hit you of like what different things actually are. So it's like people need to not be hard on themselves also if they don't have that passion or don't have the dream. Just realize that you can find something. Like normally you can find something.
You're the Power Ranger of real estate. That's it. That's your logo. I better see it somewhere.
We'll
Which
get it
color
made.
would you be?
I don't know. At this point in my life, I don't know. I like the Black Ranger, I think. The Black and the Green Ranger are pretty badass. They're elite.
Okay. Well, then you better have some black and green and it better be tied into some real estate. That'd be a really sick logo.
Yeah, I'm going to make it happen. Maybe.
Yeah. You need to brand yourself too. It's great that you're a part of a team, but your mission solo, I think it's going to change. Yeah. It's going to change so many people's lives, and not only your life and doing so as well.
I need to figure out I social media and everything else. I'm like, that was the biggest thing with being in tech. All I had to do was LinkedIn. That's it. And then once you have a job, it's like, okay, I don't have to do LinkedIn anymore. It's done. I just have to not be I don't have to be creating content and branding and all this other stuff. That's probably like the most difficult part getting back into real estate. It's because you need to share yourself. Like,
you do.
You have to be, omnipresent of just, you need to be everywhere. Like that's how you do your business. People need to know you. They're not going to refer things over to you. They're not going to want to work with you if they don't know who you are. So whether it's events, you can do a ton of events, but the only scalable thing is probably more social media. And there needs to be combination.
Sense, or at least being able to be at the comfort of your own home. But to your point, just start, like I'm working on this too. Like I'll post what I'm doing in my day-to-day just to post. Whether I'll talk to a camera and just say positive things, and whether anybody's really listening to it or not, like I don't care anymore.
It's good practice too.
At first, I used to care. Like I'm like, oh, Alexis, nobody cares, and now I'm like,
and no, it's real. Nobody does care, and that's the beauty. That's like what we all have to remember. Nobody cares, so just fucking do it. Like no one cares. Like in the best sense. Like if you don't do it the right way or you fuck up or whatever, no one really cares. If that makes sense.
No,
like,
it does make sense.
In the most positive way, we shouldn't be scared of doing anything because no one cares. We're not important to anyone except for ourselves. Like, hopefully we're important to ourselves, but no one genuinely cares. So go break shit. Like,
that was great. So this side of the segment, I like to feed you for taking time out of your day. I know that you were on a no carbs kind of.
I broke it. So the end of the month it's today, the first of the month. I was going to wait till today to break it, but I did. One of my buddies, one of my buddies was in town and we wound up going for drinks and stuff. And yeah, ate like half a cheesecake this morning.
Nice.
And I'll start it back tomorrow with like no carbs, no nothing.
Well, good. I'm glad that didn't have to go in today. So this side of the segment, I'd just like to ask you some fun questions. I know a lot of people got to get your personality already, but if you could pick one celebrity to be your business partner in real estate, who and why? Who would it be and why?
One celebrity to be my business partner in real estate.
They could be alive and dead too. You could bring somebody back from the dead. That'd be cool.
Probably like Frank Sinatra would be cool.
No way.
To be like my face. Like he can be like the front runner. He's got the voice. Like he'd kill it. Be awesome.
I love that. Would he be the intro to everything for you?
Awesome. He'd sing My Way. Like just have him singing My Way. Like maybe it's more of like a who what I bring back, but yeah. I think that would be a decent one.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen inside of a house during a deal, during one of your walkthroughs?
Oh, the most recent was oh my God. It was like nastiest. Like I think like, I haven't seen too many weird things, but I've seen like a lot of like shit and piss and stuff. But at this most recent house that we didn't wind up buying, there was like a massive dildo outside of the house, like right at the front entry, and it was just disgusting. I was like, really nasty to see. It was massive. It was like a giant dildo. Like why?
And that steered you from that deal, huh?
We didn't get the deal. So we didn't get the deal. We wanted a little bit less. We got outbid by a little bit, but
somebody saw that dildo and was like,
they're like, bargain. Yeah. Does this stay with the house? This is as is. I get everything that's here, right?
Oh, some things you wish just wouldn't stay as is, huh?
Yeah.
If you could make a real estate reality TV show, what would it be about? Would it be your mission?
That would be, yeah, definitely walking in there, helping someone out of like, maybe not that part of it, but like we're taking Rick and Jane to be house flippers. Like they have this amount of money. They had $200,000. We took $100,000. They're holding on to it. And we're going to leverage the rest so they can, start getting into fix and flips. And they have enough money to last them for the next 2 years where they can focus on this business. And so-and-so used to be a carpenter. Like that'd be...
Hey, HGTV, we have a really good business model that's in the works. If you guys want to holla.
That might need to be a goal. Like I think that'd be a dope TV show. I
would think that, there's a lot of things that you guys put out. This one might actually change some people's lives. So... if you're interested, what's one thing that you would tell younger Anthony? One piece of advice. What would you give young Anthony?
I think just letting him know that he matters. And like one of the things that I'm working on this year is like I'm a people pleaser, and I crave acceptance for. I know why. Like it's something I'm working through.
Yeah.
But I'd let him know, like, get working on that earlier. Like it's interesting when you know who you are, but you don't really it's not real. It's more. It's like a facade. Like you don't really believe it internally. Subconsciously. I was just telling him he matters, and. Yeah,
you're gonna
help him work through that stuff. Yeah.
If anybody is looking to start their real estate journey here in Las Vegas, or I know Anthony does a lot of things out of state, he's your go-to. If you're looking to put some money into a fix and flip and you're not sure of where to start, you're a first-time investor, definitely give him a call. Where can people find you? If somebody wants to start doing business with you, where can they? You can call me at 424-249-0863, or you can just find me at Anthony with 2 Y's _Johnson on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. If you type in Anthony Johnson, software developer, I'd probably be one of the first ones. Maybe. I was at one point. I think you still are. Also, if any of you guys are interested in coming on the podcast and talking about your story and what makes you unique, what you're bringing to the Valley, what you are doing to society, please give me a call at 725-312-3127. I'd love to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on to Ask Alexis, and I can't wait to see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you.
Awesome.